Hi everyone. In today's video, we're going to go over how to set a truck arrival and print a load sheet in Profit. The reasons why we might want to set a truck arrival are to alert the system that we have a driver show up, to let them know that a truck has arrived at our dock, and also to print a load sheet. In our last video, we became familiar with our home screen and our transaction codes. To set a truck arrival, I'm going to want to use the transaction code of a T in my transaction code field in the top left of my screen here. I'm going to want to use the order number given to us by our driver when they checked in. Here we've got order number 78197 in the driver's information. So I'm going to use that driver's order number that they provided for us. You could also use any one PO in this home screen. This is our Kirky view. Here I'm going to hit enter. So I've done my transaction code in my transaction code field, a T for truck arrival, and the order number, and I hit enter on my keyboard. In Profit, I come into my F6 screen, and unlike in Kirky where I had to tab around or enter around or shift tab kind of to figure out where I wanted to be, Profit will bring me into the proper field. You can see I'm in my driver's name field here in F6. You can see that because my cursor's there. So I can just start typing. And when I hit enter, it actually takes me to the next field that I should be in. The temperature field here will default to Fahrenheit. And I'm just entering through these fields here. And you can notice it skips over white fields for me. If you don't fill something out currently, you don't need to fill it out here. An example of that may be the DOT number. In F7, in order to get to F7, I've just touched F7 on my keyboard. F7, if you remember from our last video, is my fruit information. Here I'm just taking a look at it to make sure that it all looks good. In order to get a load sheet, I don't need to allocate pallets yet. I just need to get to F8, which is where my action steps are. In order to get to F8, I can select F8 on my keyboard. You can see that I'm in F8 now. At the top center of our screen, we can see what tabs we're in. So if we use F6 on our keyboard, it actually takes us to this F6 tab. If I use F7, it actually takes me to this F7 tab. And if I use F8, it takes me to my F8 tab. We've already selected to print reports to our screen so that we can all look at them in Adobe PDF together. If they're ever not printing any kind of reports, whether it be a load sheet, a bill of lading, or anything you want to see, you can always select this box, print it to Adobe, and then direct it to a printer or save as and attach to an email. For this example, we're just going to want to print a load sheet. So I can look to the bottom center of my screen where my mouse is hovering, and you can see this F14 for load sheet, LS, load sheet. So that's what we're trying to do at this time. So we're going to go ahead and use a Shift F2. So that's Shift, holding down Shift and F2 on my keyboard, and that's actually going to print my load sheet. You can see the Profit system will let me know we're working, and then a load sheet will print or pop up to Adobe PDF depending on our selection. That load sheet will include order number, load number, dates, times, salespeople information, buyer's PO. It'll include our distribution point, for this example, Porterville Citrus Terabella, and our customer, for this example, Sam's Club, and also in our fruit information. If we had an instruction, it would be here in our notes field. This is our subscriber list. This is where we say who and who we don't want things to print to or email to. If I want it to print to them, I leave the box blank. If I don't want it to print or email to them, I select the box and add a check mark. I can do that all at once by dragging my mouse over to highlight the fields, or by selecting the top box, selecting my Shift button on my keyboard and the down arrow function to highlight all those fields. I can then use a spacebar to highlight all, or a spacebar again to deselect all. So a check mark means no, I don't want it to go. It's the same thing as typing an N in Kirky. An open box is the same thing as a Y in Kirky. Awesome. So we wanted to print to everybody, so we'll send it to them. If we needed to add someone, you can see I'm in this enter a person field in the center of my screen where my mouse is. I can type a first and last name and hit enter and add a person on. If I don't want it to go to them, again, I just select that box for an in or no, as it would be in Kirky. So then I look to the bottom of my screen when I'm happy with my subscriber or my print list, and now I'm ready to send this and exit. So I'm going to hit F3 to send and exit. So all I've done there is hit F3 on my keyboard. And that is how you set a truck arrival in Profit through this view screen. If we want to take a look and see that that truck arrival's gone through, or for this example, we'll want to use our transaction codes in our other shipping tab. We can F12 here in the bottom left corner of my screen here, where my mouse is, F12. And we just hit that F12 button. Here we can see we have a couple orders, but nothing says truck arrival. Don't be confused. Remember from our last video, our refresh button is this F5 you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. We can use our function key for F5, which is the same thing as touching this button in work. So we can do either of those at this time. For this example, let's use our F5 function key. So I used my F5 function key, and you see we have set 2 truck arrivals throughout the day, and we've got some orders that are currently booked. We're waiting for those trucks to show up. So I can use this shipping tab as a daily planner. So I can see what trucks have already arrived, meaning that I have forklift drivers, or I am myself maybe driving a forklift to get some fruit on that truck. Those are kind of my higher priorities. These booked orders are orders that haven't shown up yet to be picked up. And I may have some orders that say cross dock here in this cross dock field. For this example, none of these are consolidations. If I want to see what's already shipped, I can hit this shipped button in this left center of my screen here. You can see the shipped button. I can select that button and I can see what's been shipped out. I'll go back to this in work tab. In work here, this button in work in this center part of my screen that my mouse is hovering over, in work. That'll bring me back to this kind of shipping tab that we're used to seeing, this planner for us. So we've set a truck arrival on this order. The next thing that we need to do on order 78197, which we can always type in an order here in this field, or use our arrow here to select one order. So I could either type 78197 and it'll bring that order up for us. I need to delete that if I don't want that filter to be on. If I type it, I have to delete it, so I need to backspace over it. Or I can select this arrow here and I can select any one order, or use my control feature on my keyboard and select multiple orders. I can also use that control button and unselect orders. So for this example, we want to look at 78197. You can see I filtered there because I have a little funnel here. You can see that in this sales order column. I have this little filter here. If I want to turn the filter off, touch my down arrow and I can hit no filtering here with this bubble where my mouse is in the center of our screen and hit OK. If I have a filter on and I don't know where that filter is, I can click in my grid where you see this plus sign. I can left click in this grid and then right click, go to filters and clear column filters. So what I did there was I have my plus sign, I left clicked in my grid, right click, filters, clear column filters. Awesome. So for this example, we're going to type in our 78197. We're going to go to our transaction code box over here in the left-hand corner that we went over in our last video. We're going to use a T for a truck arrival. We're going to select on top of our order. You can see that black box in this sales order column. It brings our fruit lines into the center of our screen here. It's the center of our screen. If we had an instruction, it would be here in the bottom center of my screen where my mouse is. This instructions would be here in this instructions box. For this example, I've typed a T up here in this upper left-hand corner transaction code. I've selected my order with a left click, and I'm going to use my menu, my F keys, my F2 on my keyboard to go into that order. Now I could type my driver's information, just like we did in our Kirky menu screen. We went in under a T and an order number. It's the same thing we did there. We went in through a T. We selected our order number and hit F2. F7, F8, this is where we would do Shift F2 for our load sheet down here. So F6 is driver's information. F7 is fruit information. F8, my action step of getting my load sheet. Shift F2. Lets us know it's working. And it prints that load sheet for us. So those are the two ways we can print a load sheet and set a truck arrival. This is our same subscriber list, the same way. A box means no. An open box means yes. Closed box means no. We'll hit F3 to send an exit here at the bottom left of our screen. And it'll bring us back to our home view. If we want to go see that truck arrival, we again can go to F12. And here's that truck arrival. We'll want to use an F5 for refresh. If we want to clear out a filter, again, backspace. If we wanted to select the filter, we can do one at a time or use Control to do multiple orders. If I want to clear a filter, most of the time if we don't see what we want on our screen, we need to left click, right click, filters, clear column filters. Awesome. So that's how you set a truck arrival today. That's how you clear out some filters. That's how you print a load sheet. So we've shown you how to do that both through our Kirky view and our Profit view. We toggle between those again, the bottom center of my screen here with F12. So it's just touching F12 on my keyboard, F12. So that's how you set a truck arrival. In our next video, we'll actually use our next transaction code of an S to ship an order and print a bill of lading and a manifest. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for your time and attention.